Hey guys, so the narc is gone. He's doing that thing with his car that we talked about yesterday. So I just wanted to jump on and record something while I still can, because it's likely that thing is going to take maybe 20 minutes. I gave him a nice hearty list for the store, because the way it's been going lately with things and acquiring certain things, and just his refusal to acknowledge his reluctance and his intention to stifle my spirit or my happiness in life, expecting someone to get by on the bare minimum for this long is essentially not applying any sort of empathy to the situation at all. Like, I can understand you go for a couple months and say, okay, well, you ended up in this situation, so here's the bare minimum, here's what's required for survival, and basically don't expect any more than this. But then after a couple months, you sit there and see someone's situation and inject a little bit more in there if you can. Like, just you see someone struggle, you normally would should do something, not just idly sit by and just think what you're doing is sufficient. And I don't know, I would do things differently for my son, and I just keep thinking about that in my head, about how would I treat my son in this situation, which I do have a son, so don't even do that. But so I do understand what it is to be a father and all that. And so when I constantly think of just how my son's life was different all the way, in the upbringing and the different engagement in each other's life, the quality that's there and lack thereof for mine, basically. So with that being said, I do keep that in mind about what I would do for my own versus what's being done for me, or what could be done and is not. And I look at the differences in the character, and it definitely most times comes back to narcissism and the belief that the stingy scarcity type lack belief that the bare minimum is enough, and that anything above and beyond is like a special treat, and should be the person expecting extra should be rolling out the red carpet and doing backflips and just overall basically prostrate themselves before the person and treat them as gods. And when he doesn't see that, tends to get stingy and jealous for it. And it's funny, because a Christian can't recognize the God within themselves, right? They're taught to look outside themselves to an outside entity and don't see it within. Therefore, they don't recognize their own sovereignty. Therefore, they can't recognize the sovereignty in others. Therefore, they assume others are just as bad or worse than they are. And oftentimes they'll put others in a viewpoint of them being worse than they are. So in order to get to heaven, you've got to find different ways that you are more likely to get to heaven than someone else, right? That way you reinforce your idea of the getting to heaven part. If you see others acting in a way that is somehow perceived to be more deserving of heaven than you're going to do other things to reinforce. You might think you're falling behind or something. And that's the motivation constantly with that sort of mentality that's being taught through Christianity. So like, because they can't recognize that in themselves, they're going to compete and constantly put others down. And so it can't be expected that equal treatment is automatic from these people. It's almost has to be required, asked for, manipulated, or otherwise acquired through active pursuit versus the allowing it to come to you. So, this is a good time to get into the breakfast that I made the other day. I woke up in the morning. I wanted to make waffles as a kind of a special breakfast. I have a little bit of waffle mix left that I purchased with my own money way back, and I was gonna bust it out, and I got a waffle iron that I purchased with like store coupons and stuff. And when I brought that home, I got the worst looking side eye, because at the time, that's a long story, but it was basically I was using store credit to purchase it, and but I got the worst attitude and side eye when that was seen, and I'm like, hey, I didn't use cash for this. So, but anyway, I wanted to pull it out, make some waffles for a special breakfast this Thanksgiving weekend. Didn't have the oil. I put coconut oil in my waffles and didn't have enough, and started hating the situation again, started getting kind of down about it, like, damn, I'd really like to be able to do this, but I can't. So then I'm kind of digging for other special breakfast ideas, and French toast is French toast. So I had some diced hash brown potatoes in the freezer still that were pretty old, pretty frozen solid, but I pulled them out, put them in a strainer, got them thawed and just kind of like loose, put them fried them up in the pan, made some delicious, beautiful hash brown potatoes with some duck fat that I had rendered from doing some bone broth from some of his girlfriend's ducks that she'll send, like a whole like Peking duck sometimes, and then I'll eat that, take the bones, make a bone broth, and then that fat I could render off, and I've been using that on the potatoes. That was amazing. And so I had the eggs. We had one piece of bacon each because he hadn't gotten bacon enough to get through, just enough to, or the 1 pack per week or whatever it is, when it's like 1 pack goes enough for 4 days, but he'll still just count that as the week's worth of bacon if it falls on. But anyway, tried to make the best of it, and he even thanked me for it later, and I said, yeah, I do what I can with what I have, but I'd really like to do this more often, but I do what I can with what I have. And I just kind of left it at that. He goes, well, if there's ever anything you need, just let me know, from the store or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that really works. And then he offered, like, when I go along with him, and I'm like, that just doesn't, even if I'm there, I see the fear and how basically trying to get through the store as fast as possible to prevent me from putting the things that I want or need in the cart. So what the hell's the point of me being at the store if I'm not reaching for the things that I would normally reach for, which I've been. I mean, you're talking bare minimum here. And so anyway, I said, yeah, that basically is for shit. Because I see your attitude, you come back and stress eat ice cream, and it's just I can see the anxiety that it causes him, when we are at the store, or when I do hand him a list of things that I'm like so fed up that I'm like finally like, okay, I'd like some yogurt right now. Like, it's been how long? And I've been basically stretching out past due yogurt just to make it stretch, you know what I mean? And having just the minimal amount. And it really is just, so anyway, we had that conversation. And I even pointed out as I was cooking cleaning up after breakfast, I said, yeah, like, look, you're the peppercorn. We need more peppercorn. Like, am I going to bring these things up to you every time? Like, oh, would you please get some more peppercorn? Would you please get some more salt? Would you? All these different things, like, can't you just see when they're running out? Or, you know, this is not hiding. I've asked for every single thing once before, and it's not like they're gonna last forever after you bought them, you know, and you can see them running out, but yet you still need me to tell you that we need them. Like, come on, what kind of game are we playing here? And I'm not trying to give up my sovereignty every time and ask like a beggar for these things that you two get enjoyment from. You also get enjoyment from. Like the bacon. I used the black pepper to the point where, like, the last batch of bacon, I didn't put any pepper on it because I'm like, I'm saving that pepper for my eggs. There's no way I'm going to waste the last bit of pepper on this bacon if he's not even going to, if he doesn't want to replace it because maybe he doesn't like pepper on his bacon. But then I'm just going to sit there and use the rest of it on there and not have it on my eggs, where I enjoy it a lot. And, you know, I enjoyed it on my bacon too, but hey, you know, it is what it is. So his bacon this morning had 0 pepper on it. His eggs didn't have any. There was no pepper in his breakfast. And then this morning he says, oh yeah, and I'll get some more pepper today because today's the car thing. So I'm like, oh, that'd be great. Yeah, I didn't have enough for the bacon, and we could actually use some salt too. Oh, okay. And I'm thinking, like, wouldn't that just be fitting to his idea of how things are in this household right now, for him to think that all I needed from the store, all I'm asking for is salt and pepper? So I busted out my Alexa shopping list, and I'm like, all right.
17 items on your shopping list. Here they
No, stop. See, always listening. But I busted out the shopping list, and you know, I reserved some things I didn't put on there, but stop it. Okay. Like last night I tried to make cupcakes and I ran out of cupcake liners, the jumbo ones, the special ones. See, the first time I asked them for cupcake liners, you got the normal, like, they were weird. They weren't even made by like Duncan Hines or any of the like normal companies. They were made by like this weird, like, 5 and dime birthday store, like 50/50 type, like real cheap end cap type. I don't know how to describe it, but it wasn't like an actual thing. It was more like a novelty thing. I don't even know where in the store he would have found it other than like on an end cap, but definitely not in the aisle where all the cakes and the cupcakes and the frostings and, you know, those where there are multiple options. There was probably just the one, I don't know, but they didn't work because I have a 6 muffin tin, and I think those were standard like cupcake little liners, not muffin, you know. But anyway, I had to last night I was cooking something on the stove. I had the oven prepping. I was mixing the ingredients. I had the ingredients mixed up, ran out of the liners. I'm taking like parchment paper, trying to get it like molded in there, and I ran out of vanilla, just all kinds of things. Was probably the worst muffin experience yet, for as far as like the enjoyment or the zen, but I had to make that batch to use up the bananas and get them out of the way. But I'm like, okay, so instead of sending him off with salt and pepper, and that's the only thing that I need in life, no, I'm gonna bust out a list. So I was like, muffin liners, coconut oil, shredded coconut. I mean, I didn't put unsalted butter on there, because I'm like, well, if he gets the coconut oil, I can at least use that. Plus I use like there's this 100% peanuts that's just peanuts. There's no sugar in this stuff. It's like almost kind of gross by itself, but it's perfect for putting in like muffin recipes, maybe even cookies. Like, this is the way to go. I wouldn't add normal peanut butter. Maybe, but this is where it's at, because you don't have the seed oils. Even in the Skippy natural, it has palm oil. Like, they can't even just keep it peanuts. It has roasted peanuts, sugar, palm oil, salt. So this is that without the palm oil and without the sugar, without the salt. It's just peanuts. Like, of course it won't focus. Fucking hey. I don't know, I had like 12 items on the list. I was like, yeah, my lettuce that the head on Sunday was like down to, I had maybe a couple slices. It was all wilty. Like, I didn't even want to eat the last bit of it, because it just smelled like it I don't know. And Sunday I just didn't pick any up. So then naturally all week I would sit there without lettuce for my burger, my one of 2 meals per day, but it basically just burger patty on 2 pieces of toast. It'd be nice to dress it up with lettuce, right? I don't think that's asking too much. Maybe it is. But put that on there, some other things, and goes to, so now he's off doing that. So I suppose the emission thing would be quick, but the trip to the store might be what takes the extra time. But we'll see what he comes back with, because if he is willing to get the stuff because he's fucked with my muffins like more ways than one time. There'd be times he'd come back, I got almost like out of rebellion. Like, he'd come back and say, I didn't get chocolate chips or whatever the other thing was. I forgot what the walnuts. Like, 2 of the ingredients that I was asking for the muffins. He knew it was for the muffins. He didn't get them the one time. And I'm okay. So then I think the next time it was like an unscheduled, we both ended up at the store together. And so then when we were there, I grabbed the walnuts, and so then he realized where we were and what aisle we were in. He started grabbing the chocolate chips, probably to say, I was going to anyway. Not so much just he decided not to get them, therefore I don't get them, kind of a thing. Like, I don't know. So we'll see what he comes back with, as far as like if I want to let him in on the muffin thing again, or even have that conversation with him, because that was fucked up how he's been like attacking my muffins, and just at times coming up with like some of the best ingredients. One time I was like, yeah, if we just get some flour, I've been using the flour that's in the pantry, and but try to get unbleached. He comes back with like organic, like the best flour, probably better flour than I would have bought, but organic vanilla, like almost to the extreme on some of that stuff. And just the tiniest little bottle, like a 2-ounce bottle of the vanilla, though. I'm like, I would rather just have standard McCormick, as long as it's not imitation vanilla or something. Just to stand like a big bottle of it for the price, rather than a little 2-ounce thing that you're gonna go through real fast. But I'm like, if that's the desire, to get it in the smallest amount possible so that you feel weird going through so much or asking for more, or, you know, like when you're going to use quantity of something, you're not going to get single serving amounts. You're going to get enough of it. Like, when I purchased hot sauce for myself, I got a 32-ounce bottle of this shit. It's almost kind of unwieldy pouring it. This one's almost kind of unwieldy pouring it on your food compared to like the small, like their usual, I know you know what I mean, like the normal size. But I got a 32-ounce bottle of this shit when I bought it for myself because I know I'm gonna use it, you know. Same thing with the peanut butter. Like, come on, when I get peanut butter, I get the 2.5 pound, you know, I'm getting peanut butter because I know it's not going bad before I'm going to use it. So why pay more to get it in a smaller container? It makes no sense at all. Except that you want to come from a place of conservative scarcity and see see how much you're using and try to restrict as much as it possible how much you're using, and restrict, conserve. It's like you're restricting enjoyment, almost like not conserving love, but you're removing it, essentially. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I think it was necessary sending him with that list versus, like, I was just gonna wait, just let him go with the salt and pepper, and then just wait until we end up at the store again, and then I get this, like, you know, put the stuff in the cart. But okay, I thought I heard something. I just had to check. Be really nice if I had like a Ring camera or something that could notify me when he shows up, because sometimes, like, I'll hear him coming from a mile away up the stairs and all that, making a noise. Other times I swear he purposely sneaks in, or sometimes even like tries to make the noise like he's going downstairs, and then like try to slip back into his room as quietly as possible, so that then I think he's gone downstairs, so that I open my door and come out, and then all of a sudden there he is in his room the whole time. Like, that's the way it really seems, because like literally I'll hear the door open, I'll hear step, close, and that'll be it. And then I'll like, well, whatever, okay, you know, go to the bathroom and stuff, and then come out and be in the kitchen, then all of a sudden he's just there. Like, I didn't hear you come up or anything. Like, where the hell were you? You know, I don't know, just weird. So this morning, I had a weird morning. I woke up super early, like 4 o'clock. Stayed up for a couple hours. Ended up watching, I don't remember the guy's name, but I watched something, fell asleep to that kind of. So now, because it was his day off, he got up at like 9:30, I think, even. But I don't know if he was up at that point yet. I didn't get out of bed or start moving around until like 10:30, but when I opened my door, he was sitting in the kitchen, so I'm like, holy shit, okay. Well, I just woke up, so I came right, you know, after I used the bathroom, I came back in, made some coffee, and I'm sitting there, I'm responding to some YouTube video comments, and then he's, you know, mind you, yesterday his breakfast was served at 11:30, and that was like after he had come up from smoking, like he was in no rush to have breakfast. This morning, after I had came back in my room and started my coffee, and he realized I wasn't running out into the kitchen to start breakfast because I saw that he was up, feeling the pressure to start breakfast like he would expect me to, or that he would want. Stroke his ego a little bit. But I came in to make my coffee and start my morning. And so then he comes right in the bathroom and starts shaving right away. I'm like, oh, what's the rush, dude? I'm thinking to myself, like, what's the rush? Got the day off, and you got to just like posture and hammer it in there that since I'm not starting breakfast, you're going to start the process of your shower then or something, and not just wait for me to like wake the fuck up first, No, shave, then my coffee got done, so I'm pouring my coffee. He's proceeding with the rest of his shower routine, so I'm like, okay, whatever. Once he's in there, the door's closed, I'm out in the kitchen, and I'm starting the breakfast stuff. It was just a procession of timing where as soon as he got out, he went straight downstairs to smoke a cigarette. I'm like, you can clearly see that I'm in the middle and I'm just about to start his eggs and he's going down for a cigarette. It's like, okay. So we're just playing games the whole morning, basically. It is what it is. I guess nothing real to report there, except we'll see what he comes back from the store with after that list. I mean, some of the stuff on that list is like stuff that you don't normally go through, so it's those uncommon, kind of more expensive purchases that are like a once a month thing or stuff. So, but probably looking at close to $100 on there. So, see what kind of sweets he comes back with too, because it's like I said, if with the muffins, if he wants to start or stop being so combative with the muffin making process and like clearly opposed or making his opposition known, like no longer getting bananas or no longer getting the other ingredients, not finishing the batches that I make, but then turn around and go to the store and buy actual, like the muffins from the bakery, like made muffins, shit like that, like just little stabs, little jibes. And we'll see now after he's purchasing these ingredients if maybe he might even come back with some bananas. Like, I don't know. But he might think, well, since I'm going to be buying these ingredients, I might as well enjoy some muffins, so it's going to require some bananas then too, because I've only been making muffins if I have extra bananas at the end of the week. Sometimes I don't have a banana every day, but we'll see. That would be funny though if he does show up with extra bananas. No, I wouldn't put it past him at all. But he broke the script today too. He only said see you later. He didn't say have a good day. He just said see you later. And so I actually had to catch myself because I almost fell into the script of see you later. Normally and then there was, and I'm like, oh, okay, see you later. I just left it at that, like, see you later. Which is pretty cool because usually I'm only following the script because he's following the script. And he broke the script today. So whether that was his unwillingness to wish me a good day because of the list that I sent him off with, Or if it's just like one of those, he felt the odd sense of saying have a good day when he's just running to do two things. Who knows? It could have been one or the other. But this is my time to record, and I didn't really have anything else prepared, but I have been writing lately. A little bit. It was, and I haven't brought this one out yet, so I might as well bring it out here. It is called, it's just a short little passage there. It is called, Can We Fault the Ignorant Narcissist? Whose ignorance is no fault of their own, but a product of their very being. One who is scared to express themselves and thereby open themselves to life's lessons. Should we continue to protect them from themselves, who have chosen to live in a bubble that is isolated from their own emotions? Their lack of exposure to life and its lessons has been a respite for them from potential harm paid in full by the sacrifice of their potential pleasure. Instead, choosing to remain in a neutral state of ignorance to harm, but also ignorance to the good, they suffer the lack of knowing what is truly good, holistic, and wholesome, for fear of being exposed to the bad or exposing their own bad. Live and let live, I usually say, until their actions and willful ignorance begin to affect others. The biggest takeaway here is not to let them steal your light with their own emotional vacuum, if you can help it. I plan to expand on this quite a bit. This was just a little bonus there at the end for you. So thank you for joining me again. Please like and subscribe. And as always, never stop spreading your light. I love you.